drawing for a long time.
Since I can remember.
So was there a seminal experience that sort of made you to start creating?
I don't think there was a seminal moment, but like a lot of creative kids, you make stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you join band and crafts and clay, and you do all these different things. And of course, your parents are like, "That's not a job," kind of thing. But there was a moment when I really decided what type of art I would make, which was in my 20s. I discovered Francis Bacon and his paintings of the Pope as a evil guy. And it was just like a light bulb went off. It never occurred to me that you could make art about things that you were mad about, or that, a subject that really pissed you off. You could make a painting about it to like correct everybody, give people what the truth was. It's never occurred to me, and when I saw that, I clearly had issues like Bacon did with certain organizations, and that just, the bomb went off at me. And I switched. At the time I was doing realistic jazz icons, Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie kind of thing, Billie Holiday. In ballpoint, they look like photographs. And I knew marketing, so I invited all the jazz people. I mean, there was a lot of name dropper people that were there, and I sold everything. But I remember leaving the show, I'll never do this again, because anybody can learn to do this. And so I didn't draw anymore after that. I started doing assemblage, which looked like a complete nightmare. And I was just bolting car parts to wood fences.
Oh, wow.
And my friends really thought that I kind of went too far. Like, I lost my ability to make art. But it, hasn't gone too bad.
Why are the sketchbooks in your show?
So, sketchbooks are a big part of my process. I've been using them since 1980. So what you see in the show is about a third of them. I think we're coming up on book number 90. We're at 88. So they're a documentation. So it kind of shows where a lot of the work comes from, those ideas. Occasionally I'll tear out a piece and frame it and put it in a show, but it's really rare that I'll use any actual sketchbook images. So I use the sketchbook to just daily, to draw, of course, but to vent, to get ideas.
Do you use a number 2 pencil?
No. My trusty tool for many years has been a ballpoint pen, preferably a ballpoint pen that was discarded.
Discarded?
A hotel ballpoint pen. I don't know. I like taking something that's of no value and giving it value.
So you like found objects?
I love found objects. I call them discarded objects because I want things that clearly are discarded, rather than I'm not going to use like, oh, I found a brand new thing laying on the sidewalk. I'm not going to use that. I'll find a part of something. It's a piece of a toy or something, and I always think like, wow, on Christmas or something, this was the thing, whatever this was, and now it's discarded. It's of no value. And I like giving it a second life and putting it into a piece where it used to be the center of attention. On a birthday or something, it was it. And then it was used, and now it's nothing. And then I'm like, oh yeah, now it's back. It's back in, it's got its own life now in another universe.
During your process of the treatment, did you use any found objects to represent anything?
I had collected all of the items associated with being sick. All my hospital bands, my mask for radiation, some disgusting bags for fluids we don't need to discuss. All kinds of weird things that came from the hospital. And I had saved them and I was gonna use them in a big piece about da. And then one day I was just really tired of cancer, and I just destroyed all of it.
Oh.
I just wanted it out of my life, and so I guess because that was like really personal, and I felt like keeping it around was keeping the illness around, I guess.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I discarded my discarded objects. But I'll recycle. If I destroy a canvas, I'll cut it off the stretcher bars, re-stretch canvas. Or, and people have brought me, including you, canvases from an alley that had somebody's painting, and then I sanded it off and reused it. Yeah, those paintings are heavy because they have all that other art on it. So,
Would you like to just touch a bit on the process of your work?
the process.
Yeah.
Canvases. I never work on a blank canvas like you would buy in the art store. So I just feel like there's something naked about it. I don't know, I can't. I feel like there's nothing there. There was no history there. There's nothing before it. I was like a liquor store. It used to be like a shoe store, and then it was a Foursquare church for a while, and the evangelical thing. Then there was a liquor store again. Now it's a weed store. And it's like, it's been through all these things, and there's something about that. You look at the wall on the outside of the store, and if you look where the wall hits the sidewalk, you can see all those colors and all those old whatever it was before. It has history. So my canvases start by a coat of gesso, then 1 to 2 to 3 layers of paper. The paper is maps, Thomas Guide, for those of us that know what that is, medical papers. I redesigned the American flag. I did a bunch of political paintings. And of course, the first layers were the Bible. And then the second layer was all these lawsuits. So it was like legalese over religious documents, over documents where people were being not so nice. And that all kind of was America to me. And of course, people were outraged that I had torn up a Bible and put it on there. And so people brought me decommissioned Bibles, which was new to me. They had to go through some process so I could use them. So I just stopped using it altogether. But after that, all those layers of paper, then there's another coat of gesso. So then it almost looks like we're back to the beginning, but there's all that history that I can dig into the painting by sanding, revealing things, and it's all chance. I don't know if there's an ad there or some words about something. So that's part of the process. So in the end, it ends up being 6, 7 layers, and then found objects are added to the end. And sometimes paintings will sit for months and months and months waiting for a found object that I have not found yet.
Wow.
That's just part of my process. Sounds good too.
I know this painting is called Trouble.
Trouble.
Trouble. And that's an interesting found object. Is that anything representative of something?
No, it just kind of worked. It's obviously like a burnout cord. And I've had a couple people at the reception here said, why did I have a hangman's noose in my painting? And I don't recall ever making any kind of hanging device. I said, can you show me? And they pointed at that.
Oh.
And so they wanted to think it was that, but it's clearly not a rope and a thing, but it looks like that. So there was there wasn't any. They thought I was trying to say something about lynching or something. No, it's not.
Do you think any of your paintings alienate people?
Alienate people? Oh, definitely. I have lots of letters. And text messages. Well, as my friend Ambi, the poet, said, well, nobody was mad about your work until you had something to say. And now people don't like what you have to say. So he said it obviously has something to say, or people wouldn't have something to say about it. So it does alienate people in the sense some people don't want you to talk about mental illness. Some people do not want me to discuss mental illness in my paintings because that means their taxes are going to go up or something. Some people say, why am I helping stupid people? I mean, it's just the kind of things that people will respond to. I'm just addressing part of society that we should maybe address. And the comment is, why don't you paint birds? If you collect paintings of birds, I'll paint one for you. So sometimes yeah, it's a little misguided at times, but yeah, it does alienate people. It makes them feel something. People say I'm misusing my talent for the wrong reasons. And while other people are happy that I'm addressing a topic that it's hard for them to address. Yeah.
So how would you like your art to impact the community or society as a whole?
I think that if the art can draw attention to something like mental illness, and then it helps us to have more compassion, or hey, maybe we should contribute to that. Maybe we shouldn't ignore it. I mean, we're all kind of don't want to talk about it until grandma has it or we have it or something, and then wow, it's home. But it is everywhere. It is everywhere now. And in all these cultures, it's taboo. It's taboo in our culture. I think art became irrelevant. I mean, the television kind of, that's like the center of every universe and the center of wisdom. And as my old friend used to say, you should not be watching the idiot box. It's not going to teach you anything. I think art is becoming relevant again, I think on a personal level. Art doesn't have the impact it used to have, like a Picasso. Because we have the internet, we have everybody taking pictures. It's hard for us to isolate on an image because we're bombarded with images all day long.